as we hop into the 5th and final map. Let's get into the game.
So spawning down in the bottom right position, Jorisar, we have the blue Protoss player from My Insanity, ABomB. And his opponent spawning in the top left from FM Esports, making one of the best comebacks I have seen in a series for a long time. We have the red Zerg player, RMP.
So for those of you who haven't seen it yet and are interested in watching a really cool series, I'm going to prescribe this as homework for Metals if he hasn't seen it yet. Definitely go and watch Parting's GSL Round of 8, Best of 5. That's all I'm going to say.
I have not seen that yet. I must admit, I've got a big queue of GSL to watch because I have so
Stop
ridiculously
everything
busy.
else. Watch Trap's game in Code A. I think it was Trap versus Sulky, or it could be Trap versus another Zerg. But it's Trap versus a Zerg, and that best of 3 is awesome. And watch Parting's Round of 8 game. Like, watch those two before anything else. Top tip for anyone who has a GSL patch in his patch and is watching now. Those are definitely the two to watch.
I've seen lots of fun things going on. I have been watching quite a lot of WCS EU, of course, the Premier Division. What are your thoughts on that, Joseph? Have you been enjoying it?
Oh, sorry, just 1 second. This game, the drone was actually far enough ahead of the probe to just put down the hatchery, and for some reason when he got down to the bottom of the ramp, he turned around and started attacking the probe. He could have had the hatch down a lot earlier. But WCS EU, I've managed to catch like the tail end of quite a bit of it, because unfortunately they're 2 hours into the broadcast by the time I get home from work. So I try and get a bit of it while I'm at work, and then I try and watch the rest of it when I can at home. And production quality's been excellent. Some of the games have been fantastic. And I remember watching the day TLO topped his group as well. Oh, so satisfying.
Yep. That was, of course, brilliant, seeing TLO do really well. And, of course, he wasn't one of the favourites. The other big one as well, was Happy from Team Empire. Really surprising. Yes. Everyone was like, he was going to come bottom of his group. And then we're just like, herp derp, Happy is good. Really good. I was going to say Happy was happy. I was going to say that, and that's why I fumbled, because I was like, I'm not going to make the obvious pun there.
Well, I mean, Happy is a very underrated Terran player, and the reason he's been off the radar for a little while, I know, was because he's been practicing a lot. So I actually always had predicted that he was going to go through in 2nd place. Like, I reckon even if he... Because I thought it was reasonable to assume he might lose 1 match to someone, but then he would absolutely power through the rest of the group and come through in 2nd. But I didn't expect him to actually do quite as well as he did. And Naniwa, of course, as well, just not having the best of days there.
No, I did feel a bit bad for Naniwa there. Of course, lots of people were saying, was it the EG curse? Now he's on Alliance. But that is, of course, all lots of speculation that we definitely should not go into, Jorisar. But what we should go into is what's been happening in this game. And the reason we've had the opportunity to talk a lot about StarCraft as a whole in recent weeks is because not too much has been occurring here. There's just been very standard play out of ABomB. He's getting down his wall off, getting down his natural, taking his 3rd gas now. Meanwhile, RMP, he is just taking his 2nd gas as we speak. He's not yet started Zergling speed. He should be getting that up soon. He's only got 2 drones in that 1 extractor he's got at the moment, so pretty funky timings. This is probably some very well-refined builder he has.
Yeah, he's now going for 3 workers in the 2nd one, so I wonder if he's just forgotten to transfer a single worker into his 1st extractor. We'll find out in just a moment. We'll just keep an eye on that gas count and see what sort upgrades he wants to go for. And pneumatized carapace right off the bat. Interesting.
Before Zergling speed?
Yeah. What?
What? Okay. Okay, he's also getting his lair down.
There's the lair. Wow.
This is a really funky build.
He is not doing this on the fly, Metals. This is planned. Very planned. What I'd love to see from RMP right now is sending 2 Lings to kill off the probe that was at the 3rd base, because if he can also make ABomB think that he's trying to expand to... Oh, and he does actually send the drone over, not in time for ABomB to actually spot it with his probe.
Where's his drone? He's not going to take that 3rd, is he? He is.
I think...
Jorisar, he is. Okay, the reason this is really big is because no Zerg player takes this third. Because it's a nightmare to try and defend it if a push comes in, because you've got the cliff area there, the destructible rocks, the rock tower, and all of those things. You take the third we're looking at now, because you can defend the natural and the third easily together. So this is going to throw ABomB off straight away, because he's like, he doesn't have a third. 2 base all in is coming. You wouldn't expect to see a third base up in that position. This is brilliant by RMP. And, of course, he's got the Overlord speed. He's got some good scouting information off. What has he got planned?
See, what's worrying for me is that I actually wanted to see RMP attempt to take the third he took a little bit sooner when ABomb's probe was nearby. Because now that ABomb hasn't scouted a third base, he might start preparing for a 2-base all-in. And given RMP has something really funky planned, he doesn't want ABomb to be prepared for an all-in at this point. He went for the Overlord speed very, very early on. Still, I believe, hasn't finished researching Zergling's speed. That's taking a little while to finish up. And ABomb now is pressuring with a whole bunch of units.
And he does have a good number of units, but a great number of Zerglings are on their way through in production. But will it be enough to hold this off? We can see the Zerglings and Queens doing quite a lot of damage. The Overlords coming over to have a look at this party very quickly. But all they're going to be seeing is a lot of slaughtered Zerglings. The Queens taking a considerable amount of fire, but more reinforcements coming in here. Transfuses are going down, but one Queen falls. The remaining Zerglings are streaming in. But look at this, 4 more Zealots are on their way through. They do have +1, so 2-shot those Zerglings. And this is now an incredibly bad position for RMP, who's got 1 Swarm Host in production.
I know what. Is RMP's going to try and go for Swarm Host drops, a la TLO.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but he didn't. But when the lair finished, he didn't start up Ventral Sacks.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, he hasn't done that yet. This is very, very strange, and he's really struggling right now to hold these Zealots off. I mean, ABomb is doing so much damage with these Warpins. It's unbelievable right now. And look at this. He's even kept 3 Zealots at the ramp to stop Lings in the main base from coming down. Ingenuity here from ABomb.
Really smart play, but as these Swarm Hosts start coming out, the Locust will do a nice bit of damage, and this should finally get cleaned up. But I want to touch on the fact that you said about Swarm Host drops, because that was the first thing that popped to my mind as soon as I saw the Infestation pick come down was, okay, TLO did in WCS this week. Of course it's going to be popular, like, they were cool. Everyone liked the Swarm Host drops. And it made sense with, obviously, Overlord Speed getting research. But there was no Ventral Sacks. And if you're going to go for a Swarm Host drop, you want to do it early, hit a nice little timing window. And Ventral Sacks still isn't started. So now I am just so perplexed by the fact that we had that Overlord Speed come down. And of course, ABomb, he's not perplexed by this third. He's just going to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. There's absolutely no 2 ways about this. There's no Queen there to transfuse as well, so even if all these Zealots go down, which they will, the Mothership Core can finish the job off. It's... Oh! And there's no Queen out, so this is going to be rather inevitable. The Mothership Core, feeling like a complete boss there, up to 4 kills, going to be taking down that third hatchery, and in the meantime, the third base has started for ABomb as well. RMP is behind considerably here. He's at 86 to 94 supply, and the work count for ABomb is much higher. It's 43 to 66 in favor of the Protoss. Whatever RMP had planned this game, Maddles, it hasn't worked out.
Curasar drop in the main base coming down from ABomb. He's going for that Zealot harassment once more that we've seen so effective, but RMP, he's not falling for it. He's got a lot of Zerglings there. The Swarm Hosts are just saying, yep, that is where your natural base is. Guess we better burrow a bit further back. But with an Observer there and the Mothership Core, that means these Swarm Hosts are just going to get chipped away and not too much is going to be able to get achieved.
Man, this guy is like, he's the Chuck Norris Mothership Core. He's absolutely not afraid, just destroying everything in this game. Chasing them away as well, and he might even get this Swarm Host. It's going to be very close. It looks like he'll be able to get away for now.
When was the last time you had to try and work out whether a Swarm Host or a Mothership Core had the higher move speed?
The Swarm Host does have the higher move speed, but not a Time Warp.
Yeah.
So I thought another Time Warp was going to go down. He's going to absolutely boss up, but he only now just has enough energy for it. So it will be able to get away with a grand total of 13 move speed. And 13 move speed? 13 hit points even.
13 move speed would be pretty imber.
Pretty useful.
Pretty useful. They should buff Oracles to 13 move speed. Screw Fog, make it 13 move speed.
Or Hellbats.
Oh no, don't even joke about that, Curasar.
See how horrible... You know how horrible Hellbats are when you drop them and all the drones are pulled and you just think, well, what's the point of having a health bat now? Absolutely right, which is why they need 13 move speed. And a massive warp that Zealot's going on in the main base now. He's actually just going to be focusing down the hatchery. It looks like it did manage to finish... Oh, it doesn't really matter, actually. This is going to be very, very close, but I think the Zealots are just about going to get it. Do we have a transfusibility? We don't, but 120 hit points. A lot more Zerglings swarming in than initially there, and RMP just about saving the hatch, but needs to be so careful. Just a couple of Zealots and another sneak warp in from that Warp Prism, and that hatch is as good as gone.
Now, I want to point out, RMP is once more supply blocked. This is about the 4th time it's happened to him this game from losing Overlords. And these are long supply blocks as well. Really frustrating for him. And the only thing really going for RMP at the moment is that once more, his Swarm Host count is getting pretty respectable. He's up at 14 Swarm Hosts. He can start with Corruptor production. And this actually leaves ABomB in a bit of a tough spot because he's only got 5 Stalkers out in order to defend against those Corruptors, and he's relying completely on the Colossi to make sure that the Locusts don't destroy him.
Yeah, and that could be very, very frustrating for him if he gets into a situation where the Colossi are doing nothing but dealing with the Locusts, and he doesn't quite have enough air to deal with the Corruptors that are going to be popping out. That's a great point there, Maddles. We basically saw that in the previous game where ABomB actually ended up losing because he couldn't deal with those Corruptors in the long run. So I wonder if we're going to be seeing that again here on Acheron Waste.
Now, I think it's also fair to say this game has been very scruffy for both players.
Yes, and that Mexican standoff there between the Warp Prism, which can't quite see the Corruptors, and the Corruptors that can't quite see the Warp Prism, is rather amusing as well. It looks like RMP has said, all right, enough's enough. We've stood here for a while. We haven't seen another Warp Prism. Therefore, you must not own one anymore. But ABomB does. He even has a probe in there. So, interesting for what that's worth.
Yeah, seriously, probe drops. They're scary. They're scary.
Yeah, and take the base. Nexus. Go.
Yeah, just take the base to the south, like, that'll be fine. That'll really mess with him. I've made a hidden expansion at your 4th. But the Corruptors are starting to move forward. The Swarm Hosts are also getting ready to start making their perilous journey across the Acheron Wastes. And this is where this game really can start to swing into RMP's favour, because still, the anti-air for ABomB consists of 5 Stalkers.
Oh, the Warp Prism moving in towards the, what would be the 4th base location now. I'm a little bit surprised, actually. I thought he was going to move into the main because the hatchery is still only on 300 hit points. So that Warp Prism in the main with a couple of Zealots might be able to snipe it off with an additional Warp in as well. He's going to be moving into the natural. The Probe actually coming down as well. And the Probe, wow, Rambo Probe is going to be going in. Front lines immediately gets picked off. No idea what he was thinking there. But there are 2 Spine Crawlers here in addition to a Swarm Host. I don't think ABomB will get a lot of economic damage done here.
He won't. He may get the spine, one of the spines down, and he does, but the second one with the Zerglings coming back will be saved. Hive is 3/4 done for RMP, who's finally getting the 1-1 upgrades. They're about to finish, but 1-1 already done for ABomB, and he's got 2-2 researching as well. But look at that Swarm Host account, Jorisar. 21 already on the field, 5 more on its way. 26 Swarm Hosts are very formidable.
They are indeed, and the amount of area of effect damage that ABomb's going to need to counteract these Swarm Hosts is going to be a ridiculous number. But he does have Archons out on the field. He has enough Colossi to make me want to throw up right now, and 4 High Templars with Psionic Storm. So his army is nothing but area effect right now. In fact, if there was an army composition that was perfectly suited to killing as many Locusts as quickly as possible, this would be it.
It would be it. There are so many Colossi out that there's almost enough that I'm expecting Tom Cruise to appear on screen to star War of the Worlds 2. Like, that is how many are out at the moment.
There are enough now for, like, Legolas to do a scene jumping between their legs, man. There's a lot of Colossi popping out. And,
maybe, no, the new Star Wars film, we get one of those Hoth ships come around, tie around the legs.
When you said one of those Hoth ships, I was like, what's David Hasselhoff got to do with any of this?
Hasselhoff. No, as
I'd love to see Hasselhoff riding a Colossus. Yeehaw! I can see it.
I can see that happening too, but for the moment what we're seeing is this War Prism getting taken out. There's also a good number of Vipers out here for RMP, so that is pretty fun.
Whoopsie daisy, and these Swarm Hosts are making a very hasty exit stage left. 3 Corruptors here. They're going to be popping by to say hello, and by hello I mean death. And oh, good God, the DPS here is insane. Archons, Colossi, and Storms completely decimating RMP, who was caught entirely off guard in the middle of the map. He's down to 132 supply versus the 168 of ABomB, who's now going to be pressing forward on Protoss player, looking like he might be able to do it. Guess that's GG.
That was a good way to GG out. Guess that's GG, lol, smiley face. That's how you go out in style in Game 5. But, of course, one thing we didn't mention in there, Jarosar, was there was no Enduring Locusts.